it's Marlene Anthony Lowe with Travel While Black, and we're here with episode 2 of our TWB Across America Road Trip Series, Volume 2, Oregon Coast.
Yep, on this episode, we're up the coast a little bit further, and we're in the town of Newport, Oregon. We're super excited to check this out, and even more excited to bring you along with us.
Coos Bay was a perfect start to our Oregon Coast road trip. And since the rest of our trip would be along the coast, we were confident that the best was yet to come.
Our next Oregon Coast destination was the city of Newport. On paper, Newport is similar to Coos Bay solely by their proximity to the coast. But beyond that, these two coastal cities have completely different vibes.
While Coos Bay felt like a quiet, laid-back coastal town that was more conducive to travelers looking to get away from the busyness of life and connect to nature and the outdoors, Newport, on the other hand, provides a lot more of a touristy feel.
And we mean touristy. But this isn't something that we think the town is ashamed of, because in fact, since its establishment, it has always had a connection to attracting tourists.
Just like in Coos Bay, and no different than everywhere in America, before European disruption, the land that would become Newport was home to indigenous peoples. These people were known as the Alsea people.
Newport was founded in 1866. Its location on Yaquina Bay played a huge role in its development, as it has allowed for local shipping, logging, and fishing industries to thrive.
But soon after its establishment, Newport right away became most known for tourism, earning a reputation as a place for recreation and relaxation. It quickly became a popular destination for settlers seeking a coastal escape.
Newport today still flourishes on the economies of at least two of those industries that helped it thrive in its early days of establishment. The commercial fishing industry, as Newport is still considered to be one of the most important ports on the Oregon coast, contributing to its nickname as the Dungeness Crab Capital of the world. And of course, its tourism industry.
Yes, tourism is definitely a major part of Newport. In 2012, tourism contributed approximately $133.8 million to Lincoln County's economy, with Newport being a primary destination for visitors. And its revenue has continued to grow no matter the economic climate.
Tourism is a huge contributor to the state of Oregon overall, and it makes a lot of sense why out-of-state income would have a major impact on a state with such a low population density. Think about this. Oregon is 29% larger than our home state of Washington, but Washington's population is 85% larger than Oregon's. Wow. Well, sorry, I digress.
What was most important is that we were excited to be experiencing the best of what both had to offer within the town. Great seafood and fun experiences.
So we loaded up the car and checked out of Bayfront landing to hit the highway out of Coos Bay and head to the city of Newport, the second city on our TWB Across America Road Trip Series, Volume 2.
Drive grade. We were really looking forward to this leg of the drive because we will be driving up the actual coast. Along with the spectacular sights, driving the coast would be freeing in itself, thanks to Oregon Beach Bill of 1967.
Oregon Beach Bill 1967 guarantees free and unrestricted access of every beach, from the sand to the vegetation line, to everyone.
Yes, the freedom, the views, the roadside attractions. We just knew everything would be spectacular.
But even with going in with high hopes, there was still a small voice in our heads that we set our bar of expectation too high. We've already seen some spectacular views traveling other parts of the Pacific Northwest. Just how awesome could the Oregon coast be?
The leg of the drive from Coos Bay to Newport was a lot shorter than our first leg, coming in at 2 hours and 6 minutes. Well, minus our pit stops, of course.
This drive will be the second shortest on the road trip series, minus our pit stops, of course. And since it was a straight shot north up US 101, it was easy to get both points in regard to route difficulty.
A common theme on this road trip up the Oregon coast is that a short distance drive does not equate to lower quality of views. The views on this leg of the drive were unbelievable.
These amazing views are due a lot in part to Oregon's rugged coastal landscape. Seeing dramatic views, large waves, continuously crashing rocky cliffs silhouetted against the beautiful vast sky never gets old.
It was an easy 2 points for quality of views, and how we scored quality of roadside attractions reflects that there were some pretty amazing stops to take them all in, like our first stop, which was a pull-off within the state park, and that was a view all in itself.
We're pulled off at an Oregon coast hidden gem, the Umpqua River Lighthouse, which is still home to the U.S. Coast Guard.
Also, we're in Winchester Bay, and it's called like the Salmon Harbor, where there's lots of great salmon and also prime whale watching as well. And there's even a jawbone of a big humpback whale.
You know, it's pretty interesting. Living in Washington, we've gotten to see orcas. We have yet to see a gray whale. Maybe we might see one.
We'll see.
But one of the most intriguing pit stops on this leg of the drive was not spectacular because of views alone. It was spectacular just being in it. I'm talking about the Oregon Dunes.
Known as the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area, is the largest expanse of coastal and sand dunes in North America, spanning over 40 miles along the coast. We're at the Oregon Dunes on the Oregon coast, and this is the trail at the Oregon Dunes Day Use Area.
Look, we always associated dunes with deserts. But here in Oregon, on the coast, because of the way the Pacific Ocean hits the coast, it pushes all the sand up, creating these unbelievable large landscape of dunes.
Yes, the National Recreational Area provides a variety of great ways to experience the dunes, from hiking trails for visitors looking to peacefully stroll while taking in the nature, to even designated areas for off-road vehicles looking for a rush.
Here's an important tip if you ever do make the great decision to visit Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area.
Message!
So our GPS kept taking us to a weird location, so we thought, because where it put us was where we needed to be, and that was at the U.S. Forest Service building. See, because while the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area is not technically a park, you still need to purchase a park's pass.
Yes, a cost. But the friendly park rangers on the inside hooked us up with a great pass option that allowed us to access parks throughout the rest of our trip. And the price made it a great deal. Along with the natural scenery, the route does showcase some pretty dope man-made aesthetics.
Yes, like monuments that commemorate the area's fishing and maritime history. One of the towns we stopped in used its unique architecture to define itself, Yachats, which is described as a charming coastal village that offers visitors a tranquil escape.
It was cool. We just grabbed something to eat and then got back on the road so to get to Newport before we ran out of sunlight. There's no suspense in that, so we get full 2 points for quality of roadside attractions.
There were 2 criteria for the drive that we did take a point away for. Roadside amenities was 1 due to the fact that there were a couple of spots along the route where there is a lot of distance between seeing a gas station or anything for that matter, so be sure to fill up.
Unfortunately, parking was the other. Not only was there borderline no free parking options in the whole town of Newport, but not too long before our visit, the city had just raised parking prices. The dope views and amazing roadside attraction is the only reason we still give parking 1 point.
Even with taking the hit in parking and roadside amenities, the total still gets this leg of the road trip a really great final grade. We give it 8 out of 10 for drive grade.
So the second leg of our road trip series held the bar from the first leg, and if it wasn't for the pay for parking price hike situation, it would have done better. Message!
But would it hold the bar the same for level of fun? We already knew that the type of experience was going to be totally different from Coos Bay.
Level of fun. As soon as we entered into Newport, we could tell that it was going to be a totally different experience. But could the experience be better than what we just enjoyed in Coos Bay? Better yet, would the level of fun scale say so?
Possibly the best indicator of how fun a place can be is measuring its quality of fun activities. So it's a great sign that we noticed right away Newport has fun activities in large quantity and variety.
If one was feeling in the mood to go all out touristy, then hanging out in Newport's historic Bayfront is the way to go. There you are engulfed in everything that makes Newport, well, Newport. From it being a working dock, supporting its thriving local crab industry, demonstrating why Newport is considered the Dungeness Crab Capital of the world, to providing stunning views of the state's most beautiful landmark, the Yaquina Bridge.
And that's not even the fun touristy stuff. Hey everyone, I hope you can hear me. We are at the Newport dock, at the Sea Lion dock to be specific, and it's where sea lions come from all over, and they're obviously very loud, they communicate, and it's really cool. It's a free attraction that we recommend everybody come check out. Yes, on the historic Bayfront, visitors will be surrounded by tons of storefronts, colorful murals, and all-around energetic vibes.
There's something for everyone, even those who have interests that some would describe as, well, unique.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, I used to love watching Ripley's Believe It or Not. And some of the stuff we seen on this trip, we can't believe it.
We even stumbled upon Aquarium Village, a really unique area that feels a little off the beaten path.
Now, if one happened to be looking for a more laid-back, refined tourist experience that connects to Newport's art culture, Nye Beach would be the spot to hang.
Here in the central part of the city of Newport is the historic Nye Beach district. This district houses a lot of the art and culture of the city.
But one of the best tourist attractions in Newport is one even the locals take advantage in having access to, the Oregon Coast Aquarium.
Considered to be one of the top aquariums in the country, this amazing aquarium showcases the diverse marine life of the Pacific Northwest via interactive exhibits.
And we mean interactive.
This aquarium is pretty dope because you can actually touch the animals.
Yes, we definitely enjoyed our time visiting the aquarium, and we could see why it's considered one of the best in the United States.
Newport provides one final activity flex, as it can even provide an option for tourists looking to connect to nature, the Newport Way.
The Yaquina Bay State Recreation Area is a park in Newport that offers beach access and stunning views of the ocean. But the main attraction within is definitely the historic Yaquina Bay Lighthouse.
The lighthouse is historic. Built in 1871, it is the oldest standing structure in Newport and the last wooden lighthouse in the state. That's pretty good for only being an active lighthouse for 3 years.
Today, the Yaquina Bay Lighthouse is a museum that's open for tours, but we didn't go in because locals say that it's haunted, and no thanks.
Yep, no need to risk an unwanted ghost experience after Newport's uncanny display of fun options already. It was more than enough for us to give both points in regards to quality of activities.
Also demonstrated was Newport's ability to appeal to a variety of visitor demographics, young to old, group trip, romantic trip, solo trip. There's something in Newport for you, so 2 points for demographic applicability.
If over 150 years in the tourist business taught Newport anything, it's tourists love to eat. Newport provides plenty of options, and wherever you choose, you can't go wrong with the seafood.
So it's no surprise that Newport has access to some amazing seafood, just like Moe's, that has some amazing clam chowder. It was at a restaurant named Merrill's that we had a more upscale Newport seafood experience. Our experience at both of these locations was enough to warrant both points in regards to quality of restaurants.
Special events is where Newport outscores Coos Bay. It is no surprise that the touristy town will host one of the largest annual festivals on the Oregon coast, the Newport Seafood and Wine Festival.
Amazing seafood and wine? Sign me up. We'll have to find a way to come back for this.
Unfortunately, where Newport can't hold up against Coos Bay is in affordability. I guess over 150 years in the tourism business also taught Newport that tourists are going to pay.
Yes, Newport was pricier than what we were paying in Coos Bay, still less expensive in comparison to other West Coast touristy cities, so just 1 point for affordability.
Even with taking a hit in affordability, Newport still comes through with a great overall score, coming in at 9 out of 10 for level of fun. These near-perfect fun scores can't keep up, can they? Or can they?
Well, it's great that the level of fun scores remain high. Our expectation for the comfortability score might not be as such. Comfortability for Black people. As a reminder, for this series, we're using a modified comfort scale, keeping most things the same, just swapping out prevalence of Black history and Black population numbers with the diversity and destinations marketing and the quality of access to local cultural resource groups.
The modified scale didn't result in Coos Bay coming out with a spectacular score, but it did align with an accurate illustration of our positive experience and a destination within a state like Oregon. So, how did Newport do?
Once again, in regard to personal feelings of comfort during our visit, we can honestly give both points. But to be honest, a lot of those positive feelings were because of a chance encounter with a family member. My uncle and aunt, longtime Portland residents, previously unbeknownst to me, make Newport an annual anniversary celebration destination.
Yes, it is always great seeing family. But outside of those beautiful people, we did see a couple other Black visitors, a sight we hadn't seen in Coos Bay. So we'll give 2 points for Black people seen.
We can give 1 point for access to local cultural resource groups because of Newport's Arcuries Cultural Center, a center focused on supporting underserved Latinx, Guatemalan, and indigenous Mesoamerican populations in Lincoln County.
Unfortunately, Newport struggles against our scales from here on. We didn't notice any of the usual artifacts of inclusion, like all our welcome signs, BLM posters, or pride flags, so we can't give any points here.
Same in regard to diversity and destination marketing, not really much from what we could see.
Now, if we were using our original scale, we possibly could have gave Newport a point for Black history, See, we found out about a popular local historical figure in the nearby town of Waldport. To say his story was interesting would be an understatement, because considering what we know about Oregon's history makes his story seem impossible.
July 4th, 1830, Louis Southworth was born into slavery in Tennessee. Though he was born on the day his country celebrated Independence Day, freedom would not come for him until years later, and he would have to work to buy it.
Louis lived an adventurous life, working a wide array of different jobs to earn his freedom, from panning for gold to playing violin for local dancing schools. After purchasing his freedom, Louis eventually ended up in Oregon, moving to a homestead near Waldport. How did he manage to own property and live in an exclusionary state, you ask? By taking advantage of the Homestead Act, which had no race restrictions.
Louis would become a lifelong resident within the area. During his time, he operated a ferry carrying passengers and cargo across the Alsea River. Louis Southworth died in 1917 at the age of 86. His legacy had such an impact on the area, the town of Waldport honored his legacy with a bronze sculpture and a park named after him.
Pretty dope. But unfortunately, we aren't using the old scale. But maybe we'll make a return trip to Waldport in the future.
Still, even with the miss on the latter two criteria, Newport's total score comes to what is seemingly to be a respectable score for these Oregon towns. Based upon our scale, once again, we give a 5 out of 10 for comfortability for Black people. Overall, we absolutely enjoyed our time in Newport, continuing our great road trip experience so far.
In less than 500 miles, we've already experienced an enormous amount of spectacular views and encountered some unbelievable wildlife.
What else is great is that the first two destinations have given us two totally different Oregon coast experiences. We couldn't imagine how good it could get, considering that our next destination will be combining the escape to nature experience of Coos Bay with the touristy notoriety of Newport.
These near-perfect fun scores can't keep getting any better, can they? Or can they? We were ready to find out. On to the iconic Cannon Beach.